the Sosa, oh and the no and fucking with them old bus. You won't get fucked over. Rarries and Rovers, he's so lucky Sosa. Hit on with that Cobra, now that was stopped over. They doing it off of Sosa, you wasn't making no noise. Y'all know I'm a grown boy, your clip full of brokers. Die y'all some robots, die y'all some robots. We GPE dope boys, we got lots of dope boys.
I feel like this is incredible.
Fun. Hi, my name is Michael Hamway, and I'm the owner of Kava Social Lounge here in Naples, Florida. And this is my executive team.
I'm Jeff Snoom. I'm the CEO. Nope.
No.
I'm the COO of Kava.
Hi, I'm Savannah Martinez, and I'm the marketing director here.
Hi, I'm Sydney. I'm the general manager of Kava Love.
Hi, I'm Maddie Anderson, and I am the executive assistant at Kava Love.
So I'm from Boston originally, born and raised, and moved down to Florida in 2020 because of COVID to get away from the craziness that was in the north. So I moved down to Florida, and with the intention of moving back up there after all the COVID stuff settled down, fell in love with Naples and decided not to leave.
I'm from New York originally, but I moved to Illinois from a very young age, and then I moved here in 2015. I didn't start coming to Kava Love until 2022. And that's where I kind of just fell in love with the brand and the company.
I've been born and raised in Naples, Florida. I lived here my entire life, and I haven't really been too involved with much up until I got into Kava Love, which was like 3 years ago or so, but I haven't left since. It's kind of been like family.
I was born and raised in Australia and moved here when I was a teenager. Born and raised in Naples. I went to school with Maddie here.
Yeah.
I moved around a few states, moved back to Naples in 2022, 2021 time. Never really was into Kava or Kratom before, but yeah, I've been around Kava for about a year and a half, roughly. Born and raised in Florida.
You know what's funny is she is sitting in the same exact spot she interviewed in.
Yeah.
That's wild, actually.
So how did you guys find botanical tea and Kava?
I had an ex-significant other actually introduce me to one of the Kava bars around town. It wasn't this one specifically, it was a different one, but that kind of got me like, I guess, my foot in the door with everything, but then I kind of stayed for the community and the vibes, and obviously the product is awesome too.
You know,
so.
I don't think I've ever actually heard
I've never heard
that.
Wait. What Kava?
That's because he didn't talk to anyone in Kava for like a year.
Yeah, but it just in my brain, it was just you and the Vandy boys coming
Yeah.
in. And
Well,
yeah,
I only
that
started
was
coming
it,
to
yeah.
Kava Love because it was like literally 2 minutes from where I previously worked. Again, I just found an option that was closer to my work and my house, and it just ended up being like a million times better than anything I've experienced. And again, I just haven't left since.
What about you, Savannah?
Oh, that's a fun story.
she got a job at one.
So I've been in a couple Kava bars previous. I worked right next to one. I actually was friends with the guys from Green Bites Go when they first launched. So I was in Kava culture, like in Bonita somewhere. I had like randomly popped in here and there. Long story short, I didn't want to bartend anymore. I'm like a long time service industry person, as everybody knows. You know, tired of the lifestyle. Got sick of the late nights, the early mornings, all the hangovers. I had a skill set and I started looking for a job, and I opened my Indeed, and the first thing that popped up was marketing and events at Kava Social Lounge. I was like, I'm gonna put in the application or whatever. Pretty sure I had been out drinking until like 4 o'clock in the morning the night previously. Was opening at Irish Times. I was so over everything. I was like, I'm just applied here, loved it, got the job, did both for a while, realized I absolutely didn't want to be behind a bar or in that industry anymore. came full time here, and the Kava community that I experience here is probably one of the only that I want to experience.
Yours is the good one.
My story starts off similar to Maddie's, where I was introduced by a significant other at a Kava bar where I used to live in Port Charlotte. And I was going there for a couple of years, and then I got introduced to a group of friends, and that's when I met my other significant other, ex-significant other, and that's when he introduced me to Kava Love. I fell in love. I was here every single day after that, and then I finally asked if I could interview, and Mike and the previous manager, they both were just like, yes, please do. It's a lot longer of a story than that, but I'd rather just keep it simple.
Disclosure.
Your story is pretty funny.
Jess, what about you?
I heard of botanical tea before I even heard of Kava, which I feel like it's usually the other way around. It was through a significant other.
We all have very independent minds here.
Yeah. One of his kind of like a friend or something had brought it up to him and like told him about it. We had been like drinking a lot. Like, oh, there's this tea that makes you feel like really good, but it doesn't make you drunk or anything. And literally was like, that was the whole explanation. And we were like, okay, cool, let's try it. And the closest Kava bar was in Nita. We used to drive out to Benita. This was like 9 years ago or something.
That is a while.
And then like more started to open in Naples, and I started going to different bars in Naples, and it was almost like every time a new one opened, I went to it. And then Kava Love opened, and I never went to another Kava bar after.
My story is not as interesting. Significant other is not the one that brought me.
It was her sister.
It was her sister. And my ex moved down here trying to find like our local bar, because coming from Boston, anyone who lives there knows like there's always that one bar that you go to, and that's your go-to home bar, and you don't change it. So we were trying to find that here, and I came across a Kava bar in a plaza that was the same as my gym, and I thought they served like protein shakes or something along those lines. So I went in there, and they didn't educate us on anything. Like, it was just kind of like, no, we don't have protein shakes, but we have this. And it was like, okay. So wasn't even educated on it. I don't even know what I was drinking at that point. And then it wasn't until I found another bar, and that's the one that we started going to on a regular basis, and it was every night we would go, because we had no friends, nothing. So it was kind of like we just went there and played chess, and you know, we were even known as like the chess couple in the POS system, because no one even knew our names there. We just kind of sat there and observed. But after a certain amount of time, we started building friendships, and you know, I met amazing people like Jess. Jess was one of the first people that I had ever met here, and Cameron, somebody that was one of the first people I ever talked to. And I remember, you know, going there every night, I wanted to like contribute something, because everyone was so friendly and so involved in the community and stuff like that, where I noticed that they didn't have enough chessboards for everybody. So I went out and bought one and left it. And I thought I was like, it's so weird that I'm buying something for a business to have, and that's just not something that would have ever occurred.
But it's like it started that trend of people buying games for the bar too, because even when Store 2 opened and people came in with like housewarming gifts.
Yeah, it was all board games.
Yeah, everyone was bringing in games.
Yeah.
But I just back to like when you were saying the first time you went to a Kava bar, like when I went into the place next to my last job, like that's how it was for me. It literally was like, I was asking questions and they were like, yeah, it'll make you feel good. And I'm like,
but
okay.
what is it?
But yeah, no, what are you giving me? And I'm like, I have to go to work. Like,
am I gonna be okay?
Yeah. I'm like, meanwhile, I'm drunk behind the bar.
Yeah, the bar I went to, we still didn't get very much of like an explanation, but we had watched a Vice documentary on it and everything before we went. We did our research to make sure, like,
very well versed.
we weren't super nervous about what it was going to do, but we still didn't understand like the intricacies of the different strains or anything like that, how to make like a good drink. So I was just getting the tea with like mango juice, and it was like
I remember
muddy. And it was like, and that's just how I drank it, and it was fine. had just no idea that this world existed.
Yeah, I think the biggest like standout moment for me, like coming from Massachusetts where I came from, where if you disagreed with another person, it was turned into a screaming match and like people insulting you just because of your voting choice or your view on something. But when I was in a Kava bar, I noticed that like you would have the most liberal talking to the most conservative, and they were not yelling at each other. They were having a conversation. And I remember being so shocked by it.
Yeah.
Like that I literally was like, why are you guys not fighting?
Yeah, that was like what I was so shocked about.
Politics?
And
Yeah,
even,
that's what I
even
was
to this
shocked.
day, I still see that.
Yeah.
Like, it still
All the
stays
time.
true.
Like, there's, I think we know of 2 people at store 1, but like they'll go at it for however long, or even like myself and like Nick, for example, like 2 people with very opposing views, like go at it, and then it's like, oh, let's do a shot together. Like it's, but back in previous when I was bartending, it's like the second I heard the talk politics, I was like, nope, not in my bar.
Yeah.
Like, because it would always turn into something. And so like when I first started here, I would hear it and I would get like uncomfortable over it. I'm like, oh my god, like they're gonna start, something's gonna happen. Like what's going on? And then nothing would happen and everyone would be fine. And I'm like,
You're like bracing yourself.
yeah, I'm like, okay, who's gonna throw it to? Like, but it's like it doesn't happen because there's not that,
Animosity.
and there's not that, it doesn't affect your brain in the same way that like alcohol does. So like a lot of people who drink alcohol have this anger inside of them that they don't have otherwise. And it's like when you have kava and botanical tea, you get the nice feeling of a buzz.
I just was so shocked that people weren't screaming at each other, and it was just like, it was amazing to see, and that's what I think when I started paying attention to what it actually was.
But like with that too, like not even on the extreme side of politics, but with alcohol, you have your like construction working bar, or like your blue collar bar,
High-end bar.
high-end bar. Like
bar.
no one intermingles.
Right.
But coming in here, and there's lawyers hanging out with like construction workers or like skater kids.
Yep.
Playing chess with vets. No reason for any of these people to like ever interact.
Communicate with each other,
And they're all good friends and get along
Yeah.
just so well
Yeah.
together.
It's that sense of community and friendship that like everyone's on the same like board here, There's not like that, oh well I do this.
Yes.
Like this is like
your
a
hierarchy.
yeah,
Right.
but this is like a middle ground.
exactly.
Where
But like when
everyone-
you walk in,
everybody says hi.
but like when you walk into a different bar, it's like, oh, I don't want to sit next to this person because it's like they look busy. I'm gonna leave a seat in between. But it's like if somebody leaves a seat in between you at the bar, you're like, is there something wrong? Like do I smell?
Yeah.
Like it's like it's normal for somebody that you don't even know to just come sit next to you and strike up a conversation with them, or hey, do you want to play cards? Do you want to play heads up? Like, it's a lot different culture than anything I've ever experienced, and that's what like really has blown my mind in the entirety of my employment here. Like even other kava bars that I've gone to since being here, it's like there still is that feeling of the sense of community of like we're all here trying to make our lives better in a way by not doing something else, but we still want to have that sense of community and friendship. I look at it from a perspective of like kava bars are almost becoming a normal bar. Like when people say like let's go to the bar, a lot of people will gravitate here like it's normal. When you think of the drinks, like a lot of the drinks have come into more of like a craft cocktail style or structure when it looks like behind the bar. If you're looking at just using like Sincerely Me as an example, like a lot of their framework behind the bar is very like multi-step processes and infused blah blah blah. But like I look at that and I see it's related to a standard craft cocktail bar, which like when I first came here I thought kava bar was just like syrups and tea, that's all you do, but like it's a lot more integrated like structure wise behind a bar that is so much more hand in hand with a traditional bar.
They didn't start that way.
Yeah.
And you can see that when you go to kava bars like in different states where they're not popular and they're just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
like going to a Kava bar like 9 years ago, and it like they couldn't really explain it. They didn't have a lot of options or variety. Their events were like all over the place. It was just like, come here, hang out, we're chilling, everyone's vibing. But there was no structure to anything. And now like everyone's starting to take it way more seriously. They're getting more educated on the product. They're getting more educated on how to run a business. This is like a standalone industry. It's not a coffee shop and it's not a traditional bar. So like everyone's starting to figure out like how to build this industry now.
Yeah, I've noticed too, a lot of people, even about like 3 years ago, when I would say like, oh yeah, I work at a Kava bar, they'll be like, oh, what's that? Or whatever. But I've noticed that like when I bring that conversation up, they're like, oh yeah, I've been to one, or oh yeah, I've heard of that.
That's
and like
true.
I have definitely
Yeah.
started
Like
to
I
notice
think
that
about
a
it, like
lot
when
more.
I first started working here, even like a year and a few months, when I was like at the bowling center, for example, I would tell people like, yeah, I'm the marketing director for a Kava bar, and they're like, what is that? And again, I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe I just tell everybody, but it's
Yeah.
like now when I bring it up, they're like, oh, that's cool, like I've heard of that, like that's
Yeah.
a new like up and coming thing, and I'm
Yeah.
like, it's working.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
It used to be all stigma and like all like the weird like fringe things that people would hear about it, and then now people like, I think that kind of pushed people to educate more and do more research, and now when you Google it, it isn't just like immediately
like bad
why
headlines.
it's scary
Yeah.
or something like that, and now it's like, well, actually,
Yeah, because
Yeah.
if you look it up now, it's like it's educational information
Yeah.
and not, and yeah, you'll get the taglines and stuff like that with the catchy promo stuff, but like a lot of it's really interesting to see that they're pushing more for an education standpoint recently, which I really enjoy to see.
Yeah. Even when I was trying to do like my own research 4 years ago when I first started going to Kava bars, I would look it up online. I would just look up botanical tea online, and it would just be like, oh, did you know this was like an opioid?
Yeah, like warning,
Yeah.
warning,
Yeah.
warning.
Yeah, I would see that all the
Like you
time.
had to be so careful about
Mhm.
what websites you were going on to
Yeah.
research, or else it was gonna get a bad stigma
like-
for you, and you
like-
wouldn't want to go.
the first thing that would pop up would be like bad for the liver, bad for
Mhm.
this,
Yeah.
da 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 da. And now
But yet
you
there was
look it
no
up.
scientific.
No,
backing.
and now you look it up, and the first thing it says all the belief that it's bad for the liver is actually not true. Or it comes up with like the debunk
It's like
instead of the myth. Like
Yeah.
the bars are adapting to the customers now, where before it like was very like hippie, beachy,
Holistic.
holistic.
You see these bars popping up with pool tables, and like some people have even dartboards and things like that in there, and like you wouldn't see that, at a coffee shop or something
Yeah,
like
and
that.
it just goes back to like when Kava bars started. It's not an alcohol bar and it's not a coffee shop, and it was its own thing, and people were trying to have to like figure out how to make that popular, and now it's finding its place. And we are that like middle ground for kind of everything. We're that middle ground between a bar and a coffee shop, or a middle ground for the different classes or wherever you see yourself in society.
yeah.
And that's where it's like found its place and where it's starting to thrive.
The Kava bar scene started in 2005. If you really go back to those original bars, they're still kind of set in the old way of how things are done, how
Yeah, they don't
things
wanna,
look.
like, change
Yeah.
anything.
And I think one of the things that makes Kava Love, as well as some of the other bars, successful is that they've adapted and changed towards where the industry is going.
I think they were even starting to see, because at first when a new like botanical tea product came out, something like that, everybody was kind of excited, being like, oh yeah, somebody else is joining the club. And now you're starting to see where like there's almost like a slight divide happening between like bars and like certain other products of demanding quality. Because before there wasn't like that research, and everybody was just excited for somebody to like join and be a part of the community, and then people saw a trend and tried to like monopolize on it, and then you're now seeing like a lot of like the bar owners and employees and like certain other companies too like step up and say like, we don't want you in this community if you're gonna hurt people.
Yeah.
And before there wasn't really like a stance like that.
We have to take a short break.
So this is Kava extract shots. It's 30% kava lactones. It's extracted with CO2. These are gonna relax you, but they also, I think they can attest to this too, that they also help us focus a lot while we're working at the bar.
It also really is good for drowning out things around you.
Yeah. They're an essential part to the kava diet.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I think it's important to note that we do cheers here, where most bars
Say bula.
say bula.
Well, also bula refers to the actual shell,
Yes.
and bevan in a shell.
Yeah.
If
True
you want to
enough.
just be
Right.
literal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think enough bars have figured out kava shots. Like, we've tried them in so many bars, and like, you either don't feel the effect or it's like this big of a shot
Yeah.
or something. They just haven't figured it out. And I think it's such, like, here, that is how, like, we all bond over it. Like, everyone will come running to take a shot together.
Yeah.
Like, someone will be walking through the parking lot. We're like, we're gonna wait because when they come in,
They're
We
gonna
know
take
they're
a
gonna want
shot.
to take a
Yeah.
shot with
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, and there's like 20 people at one time that will take a shot. Like on,
Yeah.
on our busy nights, we literally will scream, "Who wants a shot?"
Put your hand up.
And everyone
will
does.
put their hand up. Literally, it could be 20, 30 people putting their hands up.
Yeah, it's like
for
a
a kava shot.
full bar cheers.
Yeah.
Just
Almost
to
every
join in
time.
with the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like really heartwarming to see. Kava shots are probably the most underrated
Yeah.
thing that we have here.
I would have to say the same. It's one of those things where, Jess and I have traveled to other states and stuff like that, and even in the state of Florida, me and Sid and like all of us have gone to other bars, and almost the first thing we ask for is their kava shot, and we're always disappointed. We're always
Yeah.
let down.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
don't think
like-
I've ever been to another bar where like I take a shot and I'm like, oh, okay.
Like not even one that's close.
Yeah, no.
Like not
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
like, oh, that's almost there. Like
Yeah.
it's always I can't believe I just paid $8.
Yeah. Almost every
Yeah.
time you're like, God damn it.
Yeah.
I'll also say, because some bars still do this, but like having your botanical tea clear.
I was gonna say
like
that. Yeah,
having
the
it
dirt and the
strained.
kratom is
Yeah, the
so
fact that
overrated.
these
Yeah.
bars have no idea that
And they're
the
mixing
dirt
the
is
dirt
really,
in.
really
Yeah.
bad for their customers is
Yeah.
Yeah.
insane.
Because
Yeah.
it's plant matter, so it when it goes to your system, your body isn't
Breaking it down.
it's not breaking it down properly.
Yeah.
So it's really bad for
Yeah,
you.
and it makes
actually.
your drink way grosser.
It
Yeah.
tastes
So they've like some bars will market it as being stronger, but
Which
your
it
body can't digest it.
Which also is not true whatsoever. Like,
No, you're
having-
literally
having
just
the-
putting dirt in your
Yeah, like
That'd be
having the plant matter in your drink does not make it stronger in
No.
any sense. And
No,
I don't
you're
know
just
where that
drinking
came
wet
from,
sand.
but it's in it. It's true though, like what Jess said. Like you drink it and you're like, feels like you just took a scoop full of dirt and
Yeah.
shoved it in your
Yeah.
mouth.
It's
Yeah.
so
It's
grainy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
our powder that's normally like dirty at other bars, we have found a way to make it clear. So
Without losing any effect to it.
right,
Yeah.
right.
With the growth of the industry and everything, and what we're seeing in terms of like the number of bars that are opening and the number of people that are interested in opening up their own kava bars, just like opening up a regular bar, we're starting to see more traction from people wanting to be a part of doing this. What would you say sets Kava Love apart from the other bars, and what would you guys say to those people, give them advice on doing this?
So I think one big thing that sets us apart is that every bar has its community, but I don't think every bar is as community driven. Like, we focus heavily on the community and what's best for our customers and the community as like a whole. And I think other bars, like, while they appreciate their community, they don't do much to expand on that.
I think as well with the community aspect is like just even caring for employees as well. Like everyone around here is literally everyone here is like a family. So like
Yeah.
we all care for each other and love each other, and like I've never really experienced this anywhere else, and it really is it's just a really surreal thing to be in, and I love it. And I would just say to just give us a shot, because the first time I ever came into a Kava Love, it was just me, and I was just going to check it out. I was very new to like drinking botanical teas and kava and stuff like that. And literally the first time I was there, I met like 2 regulars that are like some of my closest friends to this day now. And I literally haven't stopped talking to them since that day. And it's like you just be amazed at like the people you meet and the experiences you can find yourself.
We've invested in having a broad team of people that can cover all the bases to like really set a standard. And while I think other bars are still doing great, you can't pick up one of their bars and put it somewhere else. It only works in their one building.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of what you said, really. Like, our community, essentially, like, our events are so focused around, like, what's going on in people's lives. Like, we host birthdays here, baby showers here, like, these 2 got engaged here,
Yeah.
right
here.
right here.
Yeah.
It's, for me personally, like, I've never experienced anything like that, and like a big thing for me being the person who like puts it all together is like I get to talk to people like, oh, my birthday's coming up, but can we do this? I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Like, and it's like you don't get to experience that in other places. In my other bars that I was at, it's like, oh yeah, the coolest thing I could do was a bingo night. Like, I just threw a dating show for this kid. Like,
Check
and
it out on
it's
the
like,
YouTube channel.
it's check that out.
Yeah.
But it's like you can have such freedom and like freedom to experience things with your community that like you wouldn't otherwise get to do. You know, like whether it's a potluck on Christmas or like things like that. Like, I don't have a lot of family and like didn't grow up that way, you know, and like a lot of our customer base didn't either. And so to create a space for people to want to spend the holidays with us, like,
Yeah.
it's a very beautiful thing to me, at least, like, because you don't ever experience that in other places, really, and it's mind-blowing, you know, the freedom to be able to do so many things.
Like, the customers, and I do this too, like, I make a point to come here on the holidays because it's not a holiday without my family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like I could touch a little bit on our employees. We train our employees to be the best of the best. I don't think, and I'm being very unbiased about this, if I were to step into another Kava bar, I would not get the same customer service that I do here. We train them to have the best customer service, the best product knowledge, plus the atmosphere. Here, it's a lot of brighter colors even at night, and it's just a lot more welcoming in my opinion.
Yeah. 100%.
It's more comfortable.
Yeah.
I would have to say it's, you know, there's so many aspects that are different, and I think, you know, when me and my business partner Chad, you know, entered this whole thing, like, I think our goal was to look at what everyone was doing wrong and just do it different. You know, companies were built on different. You know, if you look at companies like Apple and Amazon and all these great, amazing companies, they did things that were against what everyone else in their industry was doing.
Yeah.
And, you know, focusing on events, focusing on the community aspect. Like, you know, all you guys hear me say it all the time. Yes, we sell drinks. They're amazing. They're awesome. But that's not really what Kava Love is selling.
Yeah.
Kava Love is selling a community, and it's selling a family.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's a friend or, you know, whether it's a relationship that was built, or, you know, we've seen businesses built in here from people. Like, it's really something that we like to put out there, is that yes, we sell drinks, but we're more about that than the drinks.
Right.
Thanks everybody for listening. It's Kava Love. Peace.
Like and subscribe.
Yay! Everyone's so good. Good job, guys.
We did good. Vanessa, did we do good? Okay.